Hi everyone, this is Joe with Car Care Team. I've got a 2002 Lexus LS 430 and we're going to replace the door lock actuator. Whenever I unlock my car, I get a confirmation beep. That opens the driver's door. In order to open all the doors, you have to press it twice. That one still didn't open. When I lock the car, I get a confirmation beep. I unlock the car, I get a confirmation unlock. I double click it, this door should open. It didn't. I'm gonna open it manually. So now it's open. Now I'm gonna lock the car. I didn't get a confirmation beep. The door locked, but this one didn't. That's why I didn't get the confirmation beep. That beep represents that the door locking was successful. If that beep didn't occur, that means the doors did not lock successfully. The reason this one's not locking is because of the failing door lock actuator, which we're gonna go ahead and replace. I'm gonna get you guys in here so I can show you what it's doing. What I want to show you all from here is that when I cycle the door lock actuators from the master switch here, they all respond except for this one. This one works intermittently, but it doesn't respond continuously. And so we don't always get the confirmation beep when we lock these doors. Because this door lock is not responding from the switch, we're going to replace the door lock actuator, and I'm going to show you how. The door lock mechanism is inside the door panel and is controlled manually through this lever. It is controlled remotely through the switch. The electronic function is not working inside the mechanism of the door latch. And so we're going to remove the door lock actuator and replace it. In order for us to do that, we're going to need to remove the door panel first. There's a few clips and screws that are holding the door panel in. One of them sits behind this little cover here that we're going to pop out. Very gently. There's a Phillips bolt back here. We've got to remove the ashtray and the switch. This is old trim, definitely don't want to break it. Very nice wood grain trim. Don't want to lose that. We've got another Phillips back here, and then we've got another one down here. And there's a few bolts underneath. So now I'm going to pop off the panel. There is some plastic clips inside that are technically one-time use, but if you're careful enough, you reuse them, especially when you don't have new ones. So now we're going to maneuver out the door panel. So this spot needs to come up basically. So I'm going to push on this side in order to maneuver the door panel upward. And just kind of pry on it right over here. So inside the door panel, this cable is what activates the door lock actuator. We're going to disconnect the cables. I'm going to disconnect this. Sometimes you can open these zip ties, but this one's being a pain. Just pop that off, and then we're going to disconnect it right here. And now we've just got to disconnect the door light. This is the light that comes on when you have the door open, so that cars can see you. That's what that light's there for. All right, so I got the door panel off. This is a weather insulator as well as a sound barrier that we're going to want to put back. This glue is reusable, and as we don't have any, no one ever does, but it is reusable. It does stick right back on, so we want to carefully rip this off without damaging the plastic layer. Remove the cables out. Try and remember the orientation they were in. The white one was on top, the red green was on the bottom.
You want that rubber to either stay on the door or stay on the plastic. Either way is okay, as long as you can reuse it. So this is a door lock actuator. We're going to disconnect it. All we need to do now is roll up the window. Now, you normally want to have your battery disconnected whenever you touch your electrical components in order to not to cause any electrical surges when you connect and disconnect it due to capacitors involved in these systems. I haven't had a malfunction yet. I'm going to disconnect the door lock actuator. We're going to unbolt it. I've got a T30 Torx here that I'm just going to loosen up. I like to get all my bolts loosened up to make sure they're not seized on, make sure that they're all going to come off safely without any repair work needed. So I've got it loosened up, not removed yet. I want to get in here and take a look and make sure that there's nothing else that needs to be removed. It looks like it'll slip off the door handle. So I'm going to take off these bolts. And then I'm going to take off the one from here. This one's a bit shorter. This one has a little hanging tab, so that kind of holds everything in place when you install it. So we just got to wiggle it upward, inward. So that's the door lock actuator. I've got the replacement door lock actuator here. It is a used one, came from a good working vehicle. One thing I like to do with cables is to lubricate them. I have this really cool cable lubing tool here that slips over the wire. Grab the little housing, the wire will protrude out, and then when you squeeze that down, it's got a little cover there, so minimal fluid will come out. And I do like to push this down when I can, but in this case it's a little different. And then I just use some liquid wrench, some silicone lubricant. There's a little hole right here for it. And when I put it in, you do want to make sure that it's in there really good. Okay. So now when I give it a spray, I got my gloves on because it can get messy. It pressurizes that whole area. I like to do it a few times. Now all that pressure that it's building up, all that pressure is traveling down the cable housing and lubricating the entire thing. I'll do the same thing with the other cable as well. Now that we've got a good seal there, we'll go ahead and put all our lubricant in. These little cans will create the pressure that we need to, some will come out here. It'll come out in different areas, but it is working its way into the cable and it is lubricating the cable. This cable has more of a taper, that's why we're getting all that drip out. This one has a straighter edge. I hate oily hands. So we're going to reinstall the new door lock actuator. That was the only reason I had to have this one. Looks really well lubricated. Everything is working properly. The lubrication that's applied from the factory is still there. I could see it, and everything is moving great. So I'm going to reinstall this one. That's a little child safety mechanism protruding there. Gotta line that up. We've got it hanging on the bracket here. And the important thing is to make sure that the door lever functions. I'm getting tension on it, so I am comfortable with that. I'm gonna reinstall the bolts. I like to start with the outside ones. These are the locating bolts for the entire mechanism. The bolts are tapered. The holes are tapered. When these bolts are fully snugged up, the mechanism is in the right location. This is why you always want to have them loose, because the last one gets a little tight. And so when the other ones are loose, there's a lot of mobility. I've got the thread started. I'll go ahead and torque it down. I am going to torque it down by hand. Once I get this one in. All right, I've got my ratchet ready. I'm going to torque these down. Start with the upper. All right, let's reconnect everything and reinstall the door panel. So now we got to plug in the door lock actuator, and we can reinstall our insulator. Put the cables through it. Line up that corner, that line. Just get to as close to where it was as possible. And then just press it down everywhere. It'll adhere to itself and to the metal. To anything around it, it's like tar. In order to help me install the door panel, I'm going to open the window. Definitely want to make sure to plug this light back in and make sure that it's working afterwards. So that one is. It's activated by the switch on the door. And we're going to hook in this wire here. Plug in its little mounting tab. The window control wires will feed through here. And then we've just got to connect our cables back where they belong. The green one is on the bottom. And then the white one's on top. We'll just test those. That's working. And that's working. All right, so nothing's in my way now. I'm gonna hang this inner panel back on. This is the hard part right here, so you just gotta massage that in. This little hook here, this little claw has to hook over the sheet metal. Okay, once that one's down, try and get the front one in, but don't let this one up. Okay, that's nice and tight, and if these clip in, then you know we're in the right spot. My bolt holes line up. So I'm gonna run in my first bolt here. I'll tighten it up by hand. Got one more here. And we've got one up here. Tighten up the one in here. Tighten up this one. Reinstall the window switches. So I just got to reinstall the lower mounting bolts for the inner door panel. All right, now we're gonna test it. I'm gonna cycle the master switch and we're gonna see if this door lock actuator functions. Now we're gonna make sure the Windows switch is connected properly. Let's just check the window. That's working. I hope you guys like this video. Thanks for watching. Many people don't know this, but simply by holding down the unlock button on your remote, you will allow all the windows to roll down if the car is programmed to do so.
Now you are able to do the same thing just by opening it with the key and holding it down. As you can see, the windows will continue to go down. And the sunroof opens. Now I can just close it by turning it the other direction. All the windows and the sunroof will close if I hold this down.